Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody who's here because they're bored. I'm Gaming King, as you may know, if you're bored enough to watch the video, that is. When it comes down to it, this is a game that I'm going to talk a little bit about and then do an actual review for later. For now, though, forgive the mess, forgive the tape, forgive the AC. Forgive them. Some of them I can fix eventually. One of them is my lifesaver for right now, and it's keeping me sane. Now, when it comes down to it, I'm going to be talking about, if you're the title, Biomutant. Granted, this is mostly the things that frustrate me about Biomutant. Not actually a review, but at the same time, a lot of these things I'll either be talking about in the review or lots of them I'm just not going to be able to talk about at length. Biomutant has some issues. Boy, does it have issues. Or at least, it definitely does on the PS4, where I've been playing it. Now, Biomutant's biggest problems I have with it are these three things, and then some smaller stuff sprinkled about, showing their ugly mug when no one wants them. The first big problem I have is that so far I haven't been able to find a way to customize my character's look, aside from the opening segment. But even then, that opening segment kind of sucks. That's the way I had to customize my character? Really? That's how you wanted to go about people customizing the characters. Not in-depth customization where you get to choose tons of aspects to your character. No. Your character is going to look a lot like every other character. Every other character people make. Why is that? You have ways of changing the fur, don't you? And you can change the coloration on the fur. Yeah. The thing is, though, you don't have many options for fur styles. But the bigger problem is, though, that the large chunk of your character's look, the bone structure and stuff, is decided at the opening of the game, where you're deciding where you want your points to be? Really? Wait. I'm seriously having my character's overall customization limited to where I have my stats. Really? I Anybody else have a problem with this? It kind of sucks. It kind of makes my character feel less cool and less like I made him, and more gives me a feeling of like I just had a character thrusted into my arms and told, make it work. Why? I don't understand this design decision at all, and to me it's kind of stupid. Yeah. Stats and mutations, these are all names, they're all the way of the game. Here's the things though. One, there's really not much really change of look at all aside from clothing. And don't get me wrong, clothing is kind of cool. Granted, some of it's better than others. For example, the tribe based clothing, for joining a faction. That armor kind of looks cool, but it sucks. Have a high enough loot chance, you'll be pretty much dumping it in seconds. Why? Simple. They start at one stat, and in order to actually get new armor, it either requires you to have a high loot chance and forget all about tribe looks, or it requires you to beat the game, I guess? I mean, I've already conquered four different tribes, three different tribes, I think. One or the other. Uh, do I count this technically? I mean, because they were pretty boringly easy. Granted, that's half my fault because I put the game on easy, but at the same time, though, the game's difficulty doesn't really affect loot drop, from my knowledge. I could be wrong, but I'm so far as just my biggest issue though isn't the loot or the finding of loot. I love those. I love finding loot. But I also don't like the idea of knowing that my cool, awesome gear that I busted my butt to get, or that I helped that one faction that I didn't even really like. I kind of like the idea of knowing that, gear matters. And the thing is, though, gear here doesn't feel like it matters. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't feel anywhere near as bad as like Destiny or Destiny 2, which I've played both. The bigger issue is that I kind of wish there was a way to a easier upgrade than what there is right now. There is an upgrade way. Yes, there is a way to upgrade it, but it's just the game doesn't tell you about it because there's no map of the mini variety. What? Don't get me wrong, its overall world map is really great and it helps me to get around pretty quickly. The problem is though is it's hard to freaking find a merchant that I need or to find out that there even was an upgrade location because there's no mini map. Which sucks. Yes, you have you have the freaking the stuff that you've pinned just kind of floating in midair. But the problem is, though, is I need an actual mini map when I'm in towns and I'm trying to find something very specific. The world map works great for if you're trying to walk around, find other areas, find other tribes that you're trying to go after, or even trying to find where the next route is. The problem isn't those. The world map works great for what it excels at, but the problem is that it doesn't tell me where the nearest gunsmith, blade merchant, or, the very critically important when you're using tribe armor only, the armor bench to enhance my armor. These are kind of important things that you can't pin or find on the map no matter how much you zoom in. And I know, because I zoomed in a lot. I zoomed in to a point of where I was pretty sure I should have gone into some alternate view at this rate. And then gotten a minimap somehow through that. But there isn't. There is no minimap. You get the world map, or the world map. Oh, you don't like the world map? Well, guess what? You have the world map. Would you like a world map for your world map? It gets ridiculous, especially when, like I said, you kind of need it for towns, finding specific vendors. Eventually, you'll get more used to being able to predict where the vendors are as you play, yes. But I'm already over 30 some odd hours in, and I only just now found where the stupid workbench was, apparently. In case you're someone like me who's trying to find it and don't know where, look up. I'm not joking you. It's in a floating boat. A floating boat is where my armor and weapon bench has been stuffed away, floating in midair. I just thought it was a glitch. I didn't think that was actually intentional. Really? Why hide the work and armor bench when I need it? And why not have a mini-map just for, like I said, cities? Why? It's kind of frustrating to find out this late in the game that I could have upgraded my armor so long ago if I just psychically knew to look up at the thing that I thought was a glitch, but isn't. Oh, there you are. It sucks. Especially since, like I said, it looks like it's supposed to be a glitch. It's a literal boat floating in midair. In the air, people. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. Who thought this was a good idea? Who? There are other issues, some technical issues I've had playing the game, yes. But I will give the game credit as well. It hasn't been anywhere near as bug-filled as any other game that's released within the past year. Eat your heart out, Cyberpunk. I said that, and no, I'm not going to take it back. This game has been, aside from some texture pop in and occasional characters needing a couple more moments of loading that pop in, I haven't really had much issue. I haven't had any screen tearing yet, and I haven't had any frame rate drops. And aside from like 2 crashes, both because of my system overheating, yeah, that's about it. No, literally, that's the worst my bugs have been. Granted, yes, I am only, like I said, about 30-ish hours in and not, say, a full entire completion yet, due to the fact that I'm deciding to help out a tribe. And I also didn't take the easy route. I also continued the conquest as I went, but needed details. I also am going with a, largely peaceful-ish character, which is not what I normally do. It's not. But it's a fun-ish game, even though I'm having a little issue with pacing. Oh my god, pacing. I also kind of wonder how this game's economy functions without imploding on itself, Looney Tune style. Like, it's pretty bad. Think about it. The economy in this game is so heavily focused on leaves. Leaves? Leaves. Yeah, leaves. Oh, sorry. Green leaves. Green leaves. That's your economy. And it doesn't help that even if we ignore the fact that that economy sounds like it should destroy itself instantly, getting leaves is kind of oh yeah, a disaster. Now, granted, if you have a high loot chance, you can compensate for this issue because you'll be getting tons of items and gear that you can sell for high prices. Not what I did. I went instead with a high charisma right off the bat. Maxed out the charisma as high as I can get it. A full 100 right from the outset. Bad idea. So bad idea. I even tried to lean solely into it. From dumb to dumber. Impressive. Very impressive. For wrong reasons. When it comes down to it, this next character I make is going to be a lot more well-rounded because making a specifically dedicated to something that isn't loot chance build is, oh yeah, a disaster and kind of painful to suffer through as everything slows to a grinding halt. There is another issue that has to be dealt with, and that's resources. Oh, that's right, resources. Now, normally, I don't mind resources being in a game typically, but when it's so slow, to the point where just getting a new weapon literally took me an entire day, that sucks. Because a large portion of this game focuses on crafting. You will craft new weapons more often than you will actually gain them. And the weapons you do gain, more often than not, you can just craft a better one pretty much an instant later just by scrapping the weapon you just got. Really? Okay. Scrapping armor does help to mitigate the resource problems, but only by a small amount because what you get is either randomized or it's just not very well explained what gives you certain resources. Because I've had armor that gives me wood and armor that gives me multiple other things. It's just kind of ridiculous. Now, yes, look for resource totems and smack the crap out of them. That'll help your issue a little bit. Granted, only by a little bit, not by much. I think the luckiest amount I've gotten from a resource totem was about 4 things of wood. Or 4 things of rubber. That's about it. Now, there will be an actual review eventually when I do finally at least finish this game either once, maybe twice at the most. There's a lot to talk about with this game, and I don't know how anyone else has already managed to finish the game or managed to finish the game to a point where they can feel like they can release a review already. My hat's off to you a lot. I don't have a hat on today, but whatever. My point still stands. Respect. You busted your butt and finished the game really quick. Y'all are kind of awesome, or just either bored, or it's because it's your job. Or maybe some mixture of it, for all I know. Now, I'm going to go eat a very late dinner. Maybe take a nap. Maybe watch some YouTube. Yeah. Anyways, this has been Gaming King. I apologize for the standing, but I'm probably going to wind up doing these kind of videos where I'm standing a lot. Largely due to the fact that I can actually be seen, thanks to me having the Pixar lamp of mine shoved off behind the camera finally. Finally. Goodbye.